Hi everyone, it's Sammy here from Mad for Markers, and today I'm just going to be Copic colouring this image from the greeting farm, which is the best friend stamp. So I start with E000 and I just cover her whole face. I've sped up the recording so that you don't have to watch it in real time because it would be really slow. I've then used E43 for my shadow. I really love this skin tone at the moment with the E000 and the E43. I like the depth that it creates, and yeah, I just think it looks a bit more natural than some of the other ones I've been using. So I then go back in with the E000 and soften out that line. I just go back and forward quite a bit, but if you just put on a little bit at a time, you can build up those layers, and the E000 is very light, so the more you do it, the darker you get with that line. So I'm just doing a mixture of dots and flicks and little circles as I blend out that line. Now adding R11 on for her cheeks and then making it a bit deeper with the RV13. And then I go back again with the R11 and soften out that line, making it, much more smooth. So the BV000 adds in a nice natural looking shade into the face. So the shadows are often quite purple toned, so that brings that in. Then I go back in with the E000 and blend out that BV colour. And I build up the face a little bit more as I'm going here. Now just to make that face have a little bit more definition, I'm going back in again with my E43 and making those shadows deeper, and then going again with the E000 and blending it out. You can just keep going back and forward until you're happy with it. A quick look at the card I've created, and I decided to go with pink for her scarf. So using R81, I map out where I'd like the shadows to be, showing where the folds will be in the scarf, and then deeper again, darker around the left side of her body is where I'm trying to get more shadow happening. So my middle tone is the R83, and then I'm going to make it even darker with a more grey colour with the RV95. So I'm adding my final shadow in with that. And then I'll go back through with the R81 and the R83 to blend out those colours even more. Her jumper's going to be RV02 with RV06 as my darker tone. I do have RV04, but I'd like to show you a little trick if you don't have every single colour. You can bridge that gap by using a blending technique called tip-to-tip blending, where you pick up from your lightest colour, so using my RV02, and you'll see this coming up in a moment, where I touch the tip of the RV02 onto the tip of the RV06 and just pick up that colour, and then I've got the middle tone, which would be similar to an RV04, and then I put down my RV06 and go back and forward until I'm happy with the build up of the colour there. And this is a great way you could do with like different colour tones as well. So if you wanted to make an orangey colour, you could use a yellow and a red. Her pants are pretty small and thin, so I won't go into too much detail there, but I'm just using BG72, BG75 and BG78 for the pants. Once again, I'm making it darker on the left side of her body as I'm making it appear that the light source is coming from the right of her. I like to do this when a character's looking a particular direction. I like to have them looking towards the light. That's just a personal preference. You can decide where you want the light source to be and colour your image accordingly. So her boots, I'm doing E43 and then E44, and I'll come back in with E42 as well, just mixing it up a little bit. It's quite funny colouring this image that looks like she's all dressed up for winter as I sit here in the heat under the air conditioning. So I'm going back and forward there with the E44 and the E43, blending out the colour on her boots. Now using those same colours, E44 and then E42 actually as the lighter colour around the eyes. I just do some circles around. And then I put the E42 as my lighter colour on her boots as well. Now I thought her top was a little bit too bright, so I've come back in with an R11 and just dulled out that colour a bit and made it a bit more reddy pink rather than the fluorescence of that bright RV. Back to the eyes, I'm just adding a little bit more depth in there with the lines out from the pupil, and then just highlighting the outside of that eye. This just makes it pop a little bit more, I find. And adding that same brown onto the boots and just deepening up the depth there and going over the laces, putting a tiny bit around the top, which is supposed to look a bit more white. Now just back in with the E43, I'll soften out those boots a little bit and blend that E44 out. My favourite thing to colour is hair. I just like the flicks, and the way with lots of different colours you can get such a different looking hair. And hair normally has lots of different colours in it, and the more flicks you do and the more different colours you add in, the more natural it will look. So I've started with my E30 and then I'm gone in with the E43 as a darker. And that was my shadow tone on the face, so you can see that as I've put that close to her face, it's just added a little bit of extra shadow there too. I'm just flicking out, following the hairline that's already drawn in on this stamp. Most images that stamps come will have the hair coming up in the middle of them too, so you can tell where your flicks are meant to go. And if you just flick in that direction, it'll look like it suits the image. So I just go in with lots and lots of flicks, and then I'm doing Y23 to make it look more blondie, a bit more yellow. So I'm going from holding my pen a little bit on the side to having it upright. The thinner you want the flicks, the more upright you hold your pen. If you want to soften out a line that's already there and blend it out more, if you hold the pen on the side a little bit more, that'll help you to really push that existing colour that's on the page out more. So I'm going really fast here. If you'd like to see something slower, let me know, and I can always do another video where I slow down the speed of the hair. So I've gone back in with my E43 and just building up the layers, adding in the tone. W5 is my next shadow, and I'm putting that in the darkest areas. The greys can be great adding in depth into colour that you have without changing too much the colour tone that you've got in the image. So the warm grey I've gone for here is because I wanted her hair to look rather yellow and warm. So I'm again going up the left side of her hair and making it darker on that side than it is on the other side. And back in again with my E43, softening out that W5. The Greeting Farm is one of my favourite stamp companies for colouring hair. There's such a variety of hairstyles and they're always fun to colour in. So as you can see, I'm just doing many more flicks on this hair, just following that hairline, going back and forward between the colours until I'm happy with the depth that I have. So I'm back in here again with the Y23, flicking out those darker lines and just getting more yellow through the middle of the hair this way. Now I've decided that her face needs a little bit more rouge, so I've added in R81 and RV95, which was colours that I had on her scarf, so that just ties it in together. Now I'd like to outline her eyes with a black pen because my stamping wasn't exceptionally crisp, and using a multi-line or an art line or the Gas and Fude pen like I've got here, you can really make the image pop by making that line black again. So I'm just tracing over the line that's already there and just making it darker. Oh, she's looking so cute, isn't she? Now, just after I've done that, go back in again with BV31, which is another purpley shadow tone, which I like to put in on the faces. It's a bit more grey than the BV000, so it's not quite as vibrant. a little bit on the fluffy part of the boots, and then back to the eyes I'm just adding in those white poppy bits with the white paint pen. Now I'm just fussy cutting around the image, and then I'll outline it with a W5 marker, just so that you don't get those white lines from the cutting. And where I went over her hair, I'll just blend it out a little bit more before I stick her on my card. So just using some foam tape from Express Graphics, I'm propping her up on this card that I created. And creating the card first gave me all the colours that I wanted to use, so I find that quite helpful. I hope you've enjoyed watching this Copic tutorial today. I'm hoping to do a lot more soon. If there's something particular that you'd like to see, please let me know, as I'd love to hear your feedback. Have a lovely day. Here's the finished card. Thanks for stopping by.